Hey guys, and welcome back to the accumulation zone. Before I let you watch the trade recap, I just want to make sure that you're aware that you can pretty much join our Discord for free and sit in with us on these live sessions right here in our stage, right here on the live streams. All you have to do is click the first link in the description, and then you end up in a welcome channel. And from here, you simply click on verify me, and you have access to all these channels. Alright guys, take care and enjoy watching the show. Alright, so this morning session was quite funny. So far not much has happened. Let me disable streamer mode here so I can read everyone's name. We have 8:30 news, only housing news, so not really. I don't consider them major news. Still, we're gonna watch them. I'm gonna do roughly until 9 AM. Just want to get a quick break before the market opens up. I tried to get a long of this inversion right here, which is also a 15-minute bullish fair value gap right here. That's the bullish fair value gap. That's where I tried to get my long idea from, and we see it played out. But once again, we've been rejected off this 5-minute fair value gap. And look at all those equal highs or closes right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 15. On the 5 and on the 1 hour chart. This is, yeah, I don't know what I should call this, but it's a little bit suspicious, just a little bit. Let's go on the 3 again. Okay, now on the 3 we had 1, that's the highest candle closed right here at 539. And on the 1, no, only on the 5, 15 and 1 hour. And right down here we have our Asia low, equal low sell side. We tapped it one time, we tapped it another time. We still didn't clear it, so I'd still expect news to deliver into the sell side. Or, yeah, we're gonna rally up into our buy side, and this was enough. Someone just really wanted to accumulate a few more long positions right in this fair value gap. We cleared sell side, we cleared 3 equal lows, a down closing candle. We opened up on a new day, right here at 6 PM. This is a high probability order block, cleared sell side. Momentum shift, left behind a fair value gap, and see how we kept respecting this fair value gap throughout the whole session. Let's drag out New York midnight. We bounced off it. I would have loved to see it going one tick below this. Then we could just mark it off, but right now, nah, no chance. And as we can see in Q, if we compare it roughly to where we are with ES, NQ is still above the London highs, so roughly above this level. This is our previous day high buy side. And relatively to that, ES kept dropping down below this low actually, below the 2 AM low. That's where ES spent most of the time right here. On NQ, we did not see that at all. On NQ, we still continue pushing. We did not really respect any of the fair value gaps on the 15 or 5-minute time frame, but I don't really expect NQ to do so. That's why I trade ES. I just look at NQ to get an idea of, yeah, where we're at, if we can see some SMT divergence. And we had strong SMT divergence between this low right here. That would be the 4 AM low right here on NQ. Where we cleared the 2 AM low on ES. So here's the 2 AM low, 4 AM low. We cleared that. So I expected that we are going to use those inversions that we left behind right here on ES as support. And we did. We just cut right through them. But this tiny one right here kept holding as resistance. And yeah, it just is what it is. I expected this to be the fake move because we cleared sell side right here, equal lows. We kept holding above the New York midnight on the 15 right here. Now, okay, on the 15 we also went below. And yeah, if we measure from the high to low of the expected fake move right here, and we use one deviation to the upside, we should land, yeah, exactly here, which would also be a weekly target for me. 4,600. So this is close enough. So I wanted to see longs holding off this 15-minute bullish fair value gap. But yeah, that's already in the past. I'd say right idea, wrong time. And now we're going to watch how price is going to trade through news at 8:30. So for that, we can quickly take a look at what price has been doing so far. We took out those lows, which would also be sell side, but I'm going to get rid of this line. This would be the major sell side. Equal lows. I think overall we have 9 equal lows lining up here with this fair value gap as well. I would like to see, price doesn't really have to take out the low of day for me. We could do that at 9:30 open or with the news, but we will see. Or this is here. Let me get rid of that and look at it from a clear perspective. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. 2 a.m. up, 3 a.m. down, 4 a.m. up, consolidation between 5 and 6, back down, and now we're stuck in between. So no real trend during the London kill zone. The only trade that actually played out well for me was the trade of this 5-minute inversion. We had this move to the downside before we closed for the day, and we opened up right here. And I saw right at 2 a.m. if I turn on the kill zones, we had a close above it, and then I simply placed a long position at the 50% level. Now actually right at the low of the previous candle, my stop loss was 1 tick or 2 ticks below the midnight opening, because I expected support of this newly formed inversion. And yeah, if I would have seen a close below that inversion, I would have cut some risk or maybe even closed the entire position. But as we can see, we also left behind a tiny little fair value gap right at 2 a.m. That's a 2 a.m. candle on the 5-minute time frame. And we see we just got back to test that before we continued higher. We didn't really deliver into buy side, but I secured some on after 3 handles right here. That's right here where I secured most of the position. I wanted to, of course, go for the previous day's high, but we didn't get that. So I had my stop loss back at break even, which we then took out. Then we shifted market structure right here with a close on the 5-minute time frame. And I expected these fair value gaps right here that we left behind to hold us as resistance. Those ones didn't really hold, and we saw a quite impressive bounce off the midnight open after clearing the sell side right here, which would be the 2 a.m. low. And then I checked Nasdaq, where we saw that we did not clear this 2 a.m. low. So I was, let's say, leaning towards longs, and then I saw we completely disrespected this fair value gap. We closed above it. Few minutes later, or a couple minutes later, we closed above this bearish fair value gap with this candle. It kept holding resistance. And then we finally came into this double fair value gap, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I expected longs because we didn't respect either this breaker block right here. This was the 5-minute breaker block I wanted to see act as resistance. So I framed a short of this fair value gap and of this fair value gap. I scaled into the position. My stop loss was just above the high of this candle. And yeah, I waited for a body to close. So I closed most of the position right here when we got that wick. But I still expected shorts. At least that was my bias at this time. But we also saw we left behind bullish discounts. That's why I cut some risk and I exited the whole position right here. I know we have a bearish fair value gap above us, but I don't really expect this one to hold us if we already neglected the first two and also went above the 50% of this level, paired with the SMT with NQ, and that we already took sell side at 4 a.m., which is also the opening of a new hourly candle. I did not really expect any downside continuation anymore, so I used the 50-minute inversion and this fair value gap to frame a long. I got filled, tapped in right here, and I really expected that this is going to deliver us higher, but once again we've been rejected right here. Alright, so now we eventually delivered back down below the 4 a.m. low. We didn't do that on Nasdaq, and we touched all those actual equal lows from Asia. So overall, we will see what's going to happen. Let's see, what do we have in here? Go to the 15. On the 15, we don't really have any fair value gaps. We can mark this volume imbalance right here. Depending on the close, in 1.5 minutes, we could look for support here. But remember that we have those 8:30 news. Even though it's just housing news, it's not really too important. But still, and if news deliver us into buy side, I wouldn't expect more buy side continuation after that. I would expect at least a New York open to take out the sell side. But it might just be enough if most Asian traders place their stop loss right at this level. This likely would have done the job. If they placed it a tick below that, they're still good to go. So on the 15-minute, we do not have anything else that we could really look at. No fair value gaps in here. Also no volume imbalances. The only other one that we could be looking at is this one right here, but it hasn't really been respected after this point. That's an old 5. We can get rid of that. We cleared sell side here. If this long move, we would have expected this to hold. Once I saw that, I cut some risk off my long position where I wanted to see buy side. Then we pushed right back up. We kept holding resistance inside of this 15-minute inversion. Once we closed below it, delivered us back again to that exact same level. Didn't go below it, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would now be very likely framing longs for the news. But as of right now, this should do. That's our 15-minute volume imbalance. We closed that in, so it remained open. We could look for support here. Just curious to see how those news play out. We have 15 more minutes to go. Do we have any message in the chat? Hey, how's it going? You can request to speak if you want to. So our last level of resistance on the 5 would be this fair value gap right here. And this 5-minute fair value gap, even though it has been disrespected one time, then we had a opening gap to the downside. We closed below it, also closed below the New York midnight for the first time. We also did the same thing on the 15, which led me to believe that we are likely to continue, but we're still gonna be wrong. A bias for the day. This would be my ideal target for the day. But I'm not sure if and how we're gonna get it. I know how, by clearing sell side and delivering into buy side. But yeah, I could be terribly wrong. But overall, yeah, I'd expect the previous day high to be run. But I just see what I get. What setup forms like this one right here. Perfect setup for the morning. I took it on one of my accounts. Secured after 3 handles. Ideally wanted to see the draw on liquidity, but didn't deliver. So then I switched accounts and tried to get into a trade after London Open. Yeah, I'm not trying to call tops. I mean, we've been rallying, if we go on a daily, pretty much the whole time. That was our last down close candle. It was last Friday. Then Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So pretty much only bullish candles, and we have a, let me go to the weekly right here. Get rid of the kill zones. And all those drawings. Let's put them onto only the lower time frames. So we have buy side above this high. And buy side above this high based on the weekly. I do not really see the fair value gap someone was referring to. Let's go to the daily. Maybe we get something here. Right now, price is sitting just above this high. So yeah, maybe we can run this buy side. Yeah, I'm not gonna use the ESU, because if I go to the ESU, all this area over here is just gonna be gap after gap after gap after gap. And That's not really helpful to me. I like if the chart is continuous and then I can actually make some sense out of it. If I'm on the ESU, we're gonna have a big gap here, another one here, and I'm not really gonna use them because all this is on the ESU. It's already the continuous contract ahead, so the data we're looking at right now is still the ESU data, but all the additional contracts have just been added to it. And it makes, at least for me, it makes more sense than, let's say, for example, looking at this chart. I mean, what information you want to get out of that, even on a weekly? Of course, yeah, here we would have that gap or this fair value, but I hope you get the point. That's not really what I'm looking for. I know ICT is sort of doing that, but I think that's where I choose a different path. Doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, if we start drawing out gaps, this whole area over here would be a gap. Alright, so let's see. So we just moved above this. Let's go back to the 5. This would have been the move from yesterday, if I think I'm correct. Let's go to the 1 hour. Yeah, we already cleared this high yesterday. So this was buy side that we already cleared. And the next target would be of the weekly right up here at 4632. So this would be the overall ideal best case scenario buy side if we continue bullish. Yes, we pretty much every time we had a move to the downside, we could have gone long. Like yesterday when I bought the low of the day, not knowing it's the low of the day, of course. Hindsight is 2020. But yeah, it is what it is. I secured 5 handles and another 5 with the continuation. I'm fine with that. Alright, so we have a hourly volume imbalance. I was looking at the equilibrium or the 50% of this wick initially too. But let's go back to the 15-minute and see what we're working with. Yeah, ideally I would like to see something like this. 830 is maybe not having much of an impact and we're just gonna continue to range. And then ideally I would like to see this sell side rated, maybe even this, and see we also have support with this bullish fair value gap right here. And lower than that, we do not really have much other than, which would be the next fair value gap. We have this one which already kept holding support. Then we would have this one right here which already has been used as support. So now I'd like to see this one cleared if we can get down to it, of course, also the low of the day, and then continue higher. There's not enough on the daily time frame to tell me that we are going to, of course we have a huge daily fair value gap, but I think that's going to be something for maybe tomorrow or Friday, not on Wednesday. Alright, so we have the New York midnight, we go back to the 5-minute time frame. So we see, even though we have disrespected at one time, but then immediately opened up inside of the bearish fair value gap again, we seem to keep respecting it now. Right now it's 8:20, we have 7.5 minutes to go before we get our news. Let's just see what we're gonna get. But other than that, no, I wouldn't call tops. I mean, if you would have been doing that for the past 2 or 3 weeks, you would have been burned quite a few times. So we're not gonna do that. And other than that, that was the London session. The only good real setup that played out was right before London Open, what I explained this long. Ideally, would have reached the previous day's high. I think we didn't do that on Nasdaq either because Nasdaq dropped quite a lot deeper than that. But if we look at the Nasdaq chart, what we saw is we had this also massive move at 2 a.m. very similar to what we saw on ES. Then we left behind this huge discount. We kept respecting it and delivered back above the London high, but we did not do that right here on ES. We kept making lower highs, so ideally this is all resting buy side that we could take out. And then from here on the 15-minute time frame, we left behind a few more fair value gaps. We tapped into it and we continued delivering higher. And then on the 15 as well, we left behind this one right here, but we did not respect it at all. We closed below it, we closed above it, so this is just consolidation really. Overall, the drawn liquidity would also be the previous day's high or the current low of the day. We also have, we don't have equal lows, we have relative equal lows, but very similar to what we saw on ES. That's the same fair value gap we have going on ES, this one right here. And we also see we kept respecting it during Asia on NQ. Then we had this 2 AM expansion. We kept respecting it. We continued higher, left behind a discount, ticked into it, continued higher. So right now, no reason to be bullish either. We already closed above this bearish fair value gap. So yeah, that's NQ. But NQ moves too fast for my liking and doesn't respect discounts and fair value gaps as well as ES does. So that's why we're working with ES. Alright, 15 seconds. So we seem to be holding resistance here. Note that we also have more equal highs, just at a discount. This is not a 15-minute candle close, so notice we open with a new volume imbalance. Same we did right here. We gapped below this small, tiny little bullish fair value gap, but I'm not going to draw all these in. The only one that really catches my interest would be this one right here. And if we would have cleared, if this wick would have looked just a little like this, clearing the sell side, that would have been enough for me to label this as a bullish order block. Yeah, bullish order block, because we also didn't leave a wick right here. We had a bullish engulfing. We left behind a bullish fair value gap right here, paired with the New York midnight. We cleared the Asian lows. And then, yeah, I would have liked to see that continuation. But since we didn't clear it, I'm not fully confident on taking longs from here, especially pre-news. So 4 more minutes to go. A 15-minute. No, nothing we want to participate in. Let's check the free. Not clear at all. Any questions? You can send them into the chat if you want to. Can get rid of this really. Ah, dang it, I missed this entry. But I already missed this entry. Didn't miss it, I got into it. But look at it right here. Hang on, let me log out of my trader weight right here. Log out. If I log into my top step right here, that's what I had to deal with this morning. I go into my top step, I click connect, and every time I'm connected, I'm logged into that shitty practice account that Top Step offers. So you always have the option to choose between the two. And yeah, so I quickly jumped over from ES to YM because I saw, right, okay, at 205 we get an entry. I took the long, got a perfect fill even below the actual close of the candle. 10-tick stop loss. I thought everything was going well. At 3 AM we eventually delivered into that buy side, and I did not notice that I'm on that stupid practice account. So I took the win right here on this account. And as you can see, that's not the first win. I basically traded the entire last week, or pretty much starting from Tuesday, on this practice account until I realized it yesterday that this is a live account. where I took 2 losses yesterday. So yeah, I would have made back those 2 losses yesterday. This is just really annoying. I already talked to the support that I should get rid of it, at least for me. It might be nice for some beginners to secure some profits on their challenge account and then switch over to a paper trading account. But I do not really want to do that. So this was super annoying that I couldn't catch this move. And yeah, the first New York session signal we've got right here on YM would have been, was this an up or down close candle? Up close candle. So our entry would have been at this level. Stop loss just maybe 1 tick above the VWAP. Target a 2-to-1. We would have already hit that. That would have been nice. But still with 8:30 news, which are just 1 minute away. So we're gonna switch back to ES, which also seems to be holding this bearish fair value gap. Let's see how the news deliver. And let me log out of my top step account here. Super annoying. But at least I only have to deal with those kind of problems and not with spread and slippage and all that stuff. And I'm actually going to use my New York session account right here with TraderWeight. No, that's not the right one. That's the New York session account. Alright, 5 seconds to go before we hit news. Let's see if we can finally deliver into the sell side. We left this volume imbalance open, but we have quite a few of them pre-news. This is my point of interest paired with the midnight opening. But yeah, to be expected that the housing market news don't really have too much of an impact. But we will see, I could be wrong. We still have 5 more minutes to go. If we just continue to range between those two PD arrays with this one in the middle, I would simply wait for 9:30. But now we're starting to move. Let's check on a new NQ quickly. So we're almost back above this bullish fair value gap right here. Just hovering inside of it, not really respecting it. Okay, we are at midnight. Nice rejection so far. So what I would like to see for a short setup, but it's not really a great opportunity. A close below this one right here. Entry back when we get back inside of it. Stop loss would be pretty big, but we could cut risk as soon as we close back above it. Target would be the sell side, but it's only 1.75 handles, so not really a great opportunity. And yeah, the other target obviously would be our current low of the day, which would be 4 handles, which would be enough with 2 or 3 contracts. But still, yeah, we have this order block right here. Let's just see what's going to happen. Yes, then it would become an inversion, and then I would look to short of the inversion. It can get tighter, but I always account for the wicks, because if you do this approach on a 5-minute time frame, let's say for example you've done that right here, we close above it, so this becomes an inversion, and now you use a tight stop loss. Let's say you would have gotten the same entry as I did this morning. Stop loss, let's say you make it tight and you put it 1 tick below the candle, below this candle that closed above. You would have been stopped out, of course. You could have added to it. But I just want to account for the wicks. If I see that close below, I get out of my position, or cut risk at least. So just because my stop loss is below the midnight open, yeah, this doesn't mean that I'm taking the full loss with the whole position that I'm going in there. Maybe with one contract, worst case scenario. But this is just there to give the trade some room to breathe. For the wicks, basically. Because they do the damage. Alright, so this was this little trade right here. So we see we keep holding support on this midnight. And it's always good to keep track of the midnight because it's I wouldn't say it's random. And you can do this pretty much every day and include it into your routine, basically. If we're above it, we are ideal for longs, as long as we're closing above it. Bounce of this bullish fair value gap paired with the midnight open. So this would have been my long idea if we would have seen a wick like this. But because we didn't see that, and we have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 equal lows resting here, I wouldn't have taken that. That's just too much for, yeah, a confident long, for me at least. But then, yeah, this would have become a high probability order block. But yeah, we didn't see that. Let's see what NQ is up to. Continuing bullish. So with ES, we're currently somewhere around this area, just to put it into perspective. Note, we left behind a new volume imbalance. Close this one in. Right now, this is just chop. YM delivered into our target. Let's just see what's happening here. So yeah, back to that question. If we would have entered off this or off the inversion then, short position is what we need. So we would have closed below that. I would have put my limit entry right here. Stop loss just above these highs. This doesn't mean I'm going to take the full loss. This is just there to pretty much give me protection. And once I see what I'm looking for, let's say another close below the midnight open and eventually a delivery into the sell side, would very fast pretty much try my stop loss and take partials. But if I don't see that, let's say we would have closed below it and we would have immediately closed back above it, negating or pretty much not giving this inversion or this bullish fair value gap too much weight, then I would also cut risk and not take the full loss. This is just there to give it some room to breathe. Alright, so overall, this is not a breaker block because we didn't clear this high. If we would have cleared this high with this move, we could have used this down closing candle as a breaker block. And we seem to be holding it, but it's not actually a valid breaker block. We would have had to take out the SPY side to do so. All right. Mitigation block. Now, I think mitigation is if we continue higher. So let's say we didn't really clear sell side here. If we stack them above each other. So if we move higher, the mitigation blocks, in my opinion, or at least what I know, would be those levels right here. They're not really breaker blocks, but they mitigate price. So push price back lower. And so we have potential opportunity, or we could expect that institutional order flow is going to respect this area as mitigation to mitigate their shorts that delivered them to, yeah, basically add more size to their position. But I could look this up. Okay, we seem to be still respecting it. Let's check the 15. We left this one open. We didn't close it in yet. Mitigation block. Let me look that up quickly. Yeah, this would then be considered a mitigation block. A mitigation block seems to be if we fail to break a swing high, which we did right here. We failed to break this high, we made a lower high. So yeah, this would be considered a mitigation block. Just looked it up. Haven't really used it that oftenly, to be honest, with a failed high. 5 handles would deliver us right into this high. So let's see, 4 more seconds to go before this candle is going to close. 8:35, open with a volume imbalance. We have equal highs right here. So let's see how we treat this fair value gap. 15-minute chart is going to close within the next 5 minutes. Yeah, but that's not really much we can use. That's a new hourly candle. But it could be enough to run for buy side. Bearish inversion. We could use it, yes, for a potential long into buy side. This would be my buy side, 4.25. We'll put my stop below the midnight open to account for a potential wick. But if we close below that, I'd cut some risk. But yes, we could use this inversion. We still have this last level of resistance. We are outside of the mitigation almost. We have a double volume imbalance right here. We already closed in this volume imbalance. This one right here, the 15-minute one, kept on holding us, also on the 5. So we're gonna mark this up, and also this lower one. And note that's also a volume imbalance right here, but just not going to drag that out. Yes. We will see. I'm careful now. 8:30 candle hasn't even closed yet, so I'm gonna wait for that. 1 hour wise. We're just really continuing in this job so far. Up, down, up, down, up, down. But yeah, if we close above this bearish fair value gap, we could even use this as inversion or the newly formed bullish fair value gap. So we're gonna see how that goes. If we can get the close above, I would look for this buy side to be ran. And this one, and of course our London session high. Quickly check NQ. So NQ is back above the 5 AM high, running for the previous day's high already. So yeah, we could have a opportunity here. Pre-market open. Just gotta be careful, I'm not using too much size if we're pre-market open. But let's first wait for this 15 and 5-minute candle to close. Because yeah, you can see how much resistance we had previously at this level. So ideally we would like to see momentum to cut through it. No hesitation here. Seem to get a pretty good close. This is our first target. We still have 9 equal lows below us, which could be ran at 9:30. But yeah, let's just see. We could try a long off that. YM, not doing much. 1 more minute to go. This could offer potential resistance as well. This little volume imbalance. 40 seconds to go. 15-minute chart. I mean, yeah, we could frame longs, but I also expected this to go long, and look where we got rejected again. We closed right at it. Boom. No chance of this 15-minute bullish value gap. Didn't work. Let's see if we can get a close above here. Or if we just ran this buy side above those equal highs. We closed right at the high. Yeah, let's just try it with one contract. Not much we can lose here. Alright. I still want this inversion. So I'm going to place a buy limit here. My stop loss is going to be right at the midnight. This would be my ideal fill. To offer me, that's just 2.75 handles, but it's alright. We will see. 3.5 handles till here, 4.25 up till here. Since NQ, no, okay, NQ didn't close above. Let's see if we can get our fill here. And yeah, so pretty much if we enter on this bullish fair value gap paired with this inversion, I would already cut my risk if we close below this bullish fair value gap here. But since I'm entering with only one contract, if I would have been in with more contracts, I cut more risk if we close back below this volume imbalance, and then I would pretty much be out of the position. I'm not too bullish on this, but we will see. But now it took at least some sell side liquidity from London. Yes, it did. Of course, right here, but I would have preferred to see this Asia liquidity also to be taken out before framing longs. So we see this bullish value gap keeps holding us, but I still want my fill. I'm not trying to chase into this. If we would have closed above this bearish fair value gap, yeah, I would have used my long entry right off here. Yeah, I can imagine that. I didn't like price action day either, other than this pre-market or through market open long at 3 AM. Everything else, pure rubbish. Unless you scalp for 2 handles and in and out quickly, yeah. And my target, not looking for much really pre-open. I want to see this inversion to be tapped. Not much there on the 15 that could support our idea. Really just 2.25 handles, one contract. Let's just see what we get. Alright, we got our fill. So now we would like to see that rejection. If we get that close below this bullish fair value gap, I'd already cut my position. Because then the overall idea, I guess, then would be a short of this last bearish discount that price has left behind before it might want to take out the sell side with those 9 equal lows. So yeah, this doesn't look too good, but still, that's why I'm giving it some breathing room, because wicks do the damage, and lately they've been doing quite some damage. One more minute to go. We now also tapped in this inversion. Let's see, 50% of that would be one tick below the volume imbalance. 30 seconds to go before this 5-minute candle is closing. I'm ready to exit my position. Just a small loss. I don't really consider this a loss. Just have immediate confirmation if our idea is working or not. So now, last 10 seconds, can we get a push back? Yep. Okay, we closed. No bearish volume imbalance, so that's what we like to see. We closed right at the high. My stop loss is gonna go... I do not really want to see it revisit those levels. But yeah, let's just wait. NQ. Retested this old 15-minute bullish fair value gap. We closed below it, inversion, then we closed back above it. Then we closed back below it, now we closed back above it. So this has pretty much been, yeah, sideways chop. Still, NQ is holding up this trend line. So yeah, potential for the market open. Take out sell side here, 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 and here. Because all that has been left behind. We didn't really leave that behind on ES because we cleared most of it. But yeah, let's see. We seem to be getting some push of our inversion paired with this bullish fair value gap. So now ideally we'd like to see a close back above our bullish fair value gap. But yeah, oh, there we go. That's the push I was asking for. Alright, so what do we have? Lord, that was funny. But I appreciate it, price. Alright, so depending on how we close with this candle, let's look at the free. Short-term low. I really wouldn't like price to go below this level anymore. Depending on how we close on the 5. So then I would drag my stop loss one tick below that. We kept holding support, but we wanted to see support to hold. Right now, I'm just gonna give it some room. And ideally, we get also to close above this old bearish fair value gap. Alright, for potential targets. I really hate it to put it above this old resistance because I've been trying it for quite some time to get above this with a candle close, but it never actually worked. But yeah, I'm just gonna trail my stop loss with you guys on this trade. Seems like we're holding it. 2 minutes. I'm already moving my stop right to this low. Cutting some risk. This would be our closest buy side that we could aim for. Let's check on NQ. NQ likely also had a push. Yep, we're back above our high now. Likely going for the previous day's high. And for ES, I mean, it's pre-market open. So if we pre-market open, it's 8:50 now. Start to clear or the buy side. Yeah, then it's going to be obvious that New York Open could take the Asian sell side and even more. But we will see about that. It is 8:50. 8:53. So we also have a new hourly opening that's coming up. And what's the hourly chart looking like? Still not ideal. I mean, we had all those. We had an open right, a close right here. Open. We never went above this level on the hourly chart with a close. Neither did we do that on the 15. Nor on the 5. All the same highs. All at the low of this bearish fair value gap. But yeah, 50 seconds to go. We are still above this bearish fair value gap. We cleared the high that we left behind prior to that. We also cleared those 3 equal highs. We could be, since I've just looked it up, this is our mitigation block. This one right here with the corners. And we saw we closed above it. This also could have been stacked confluence for our long idea. 10 seconds to go. We're still above this level right here. Alright, so we closed above this old bearish fair value gap. Now it becomes an inversion fair value gap. And ideally, we would not like to see another close below this. We could see a retest. But yeah, right now, let's just keep it going and see how price is reacting off my old resistance here, this 5-minute fair value gap. Maybe it's now finally time for us to break it. YM still holding. Haven't done really much. NQ pushing strongly. But I mean, we had quite a difference today between ES and NQ. I mean, that's ES basically just ping-pong between those two levels, while NQ has been pushing up pretty much for the whole day so far. We kept holding support during Asia, expansion during London. So we will see what we get at New York Open right here. This is all just pre-market. We could add to our position right here with this inversion, but I'm not going to do that pre-market. First, I want to see how we're going to respect this level. Yeah, break even. 1, 2, 3 ticks. So far, it seems like we're holding support. Is anyone in the same trade? Just out of curiosity. Matt, you pretty much caught it. We could go long off this inversion. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, me too. On my Apex, that's currently almost 8 grand in profit. That's my higher risk Apex account. I don't like to trade all sessions on the same account. I like to use different accounts for that. I've got one only for the London session, one only for the New York 5-minute, that's the one we're trading on right now, and another one to do 1-minute scalping. If I mix those up, I might have had a awesome trade in London, but I still want to continue to trade New York, but New York is just going to be super messy. So yeah, what should I do? I don't want to give away my profits I already locked in during London, so I simply switched to another account. Yeah, it's a learning process. 100%. And I mean, we're trying to learn how to read price other than, yeah, looking for a simple, stupid pattern. That's what I like about this whole thing right here. We're not just looking for, oh, we have a bull flag here, or pretty much also all the ICT concepts. They pretty much have been converted, and most of the ICT traders have been converted into simple pattern traders. They wait for their market structure shift, and then I take every market structure shift with a left behind fair value gap. But they do not put things into perspective at all. They do not look at what could be the daily draw on liquidity. Whereas our buy and sell side, of course, and everything's pretty much a silver bullet setup. Whenever you look on Twitter, silver bullet here, silver bullet there, without putting it into much perspective at all. And I don't really like to do that because I want to understand why price is doing what it's doing. And if I look at price from this perspective, using fair value gaps and important levels like the New York midnight or previous day's high, previous day's low, blah, 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 and stuff like that. I can, with this language, basically, I can, yeah, understand what price is trying to tell me. Of course, I'm still gonna have losses. It's not the correct language to use. We don't actually know what price wants to tell us, but it's a specific way to look at price action, and that's what I like about it. Yeah, exactly. Know where price is drawing to, and then you have multiple opportunities with that language or with that tool set, using volume imbalances, fair value gaps, inversions, blah blah blah. In the end, all of it, it's just support and resistance, but ICT style, you could say. So yeah, knowing the drawn liquidity is the end goal. And yeah, you just can't be upset if your drawn liquidity is wrong, because that's still going to happen. Everyone who expected that this is going to be our drawn liquidity, our best case scenario, and didn't take partials on this move to the upside, yeah, well, they missed out. That's why I always take partials. It's hard to do that with only one contract. Let's go back to our current trade. Yeah, it closed above, but note how it opened up with a volume imbalance. That's not what we like to see. And also, time, it's 9 a.m. So we have that new hourly candle. And on a 15, we also have a volume imbalance to the downside. So yeah, I would like to see if this volume imbalance remains open, or if we close it in to push above those equal highs. But yeah, it's a new hour now. Let's see. But yeah, we closed above it, so that's what we like to see. But new hourly opens always lead to some sort of volatility. $30 to go before, or 15 before I end the stream, because I have to go to the toilet, fill up my water bottle before I continue scalp the AM session starting from 9:30. But yeah, as long as we're not invalidating any of these discounts right here, we'd still anticipate higher prices. We can see that NQ so far did not close above this old high. We closed right at it. We retraced. Let's see if we can make that push, but ES looks bullish right now. Let's see what that new hourly candle looks like. Well, I would have loved to see that, then I would have already got my entry right here at the low of this hourly candle. But well, we didn't, and it's just part of it. Let me open up the chat. So we have 3 equal highs here. Buy side resting above this level. That's also a hourly high. So from 7 until 8, that's the highest price right here. So if we go back to the hourly, we could take out hourly liquidity above all those levels, basically, all those closes. How it respected this 5-minute fair value gap, even on the 1-hour time frame. And that's just the most precise concept that I've ever stumbled upon. So that's why I'm going to keep using it. We could simply just draw random boxes like, okay, here's gonna be resistance, and very likely gonna work as well. But yeah, I just like this framework to work with. All right. Are there any more questions regarding this trade, or how we could go into the New York Open? So let's see. Okay, we made that push above. Now we are on our, yeah, our demand area, as some people would say. We just touched it and we've immediately been rejected. Let's go down to the lower time frame. Keep holding it here. Note that's also a 3-minute fair value gap. Okay, let's go to the 5. So if we get a close above this level, that would be super bullish. That would lead me to continue to hold. We keep on making higher lows, also on the 5. 15 seconds to go. Come on. And if we should reject and leave this volume imbalance open, I would just cut my position. I'm fine with that. Okay. Let's see. We cleared this buy side. We touched this level. Is that enough to reject us? We will see. But I might just put my stop at break even now, because I do not want to see another retracement lower. Been pushing up higher. Let's check NQ. NQ's also been rejected right at this high. Pre-market open anyway. Now it's 9:05. Let's check the 15. Stop loss right here. It's not really the best place to put your stop loss, but I don't want to put anything at risk anymore. I'm going to put my take profit target right here at the buy side. Because if we should manage to get through here, I think London highs got the biggest draw on liquidity. Of course, we would also have the previous day's high, but yeah, I just remember that we have those 9 equal lows below us. I'm not shooting for the stars. How many handles is that exactly? 4.25. For 5 handles, we have to go up to 49350. Let's just put it there. See if we can get a 5 handle scalp of our inversion. This was our initial stop loss. We already trailed that. 2-1. One-minute time frame. We keep on pushing higher. 1 push, 2 push, 3 pushes. Yeah, so if we break this low, I wouldn't trust the longs that much anymore. So stop loss at break even should be fine. Unfortunately, this is not really a market structure shift because we didn't clear this low. We have this high right here that we just touched. Yeah, let's just see and be patient. Up, okay. We're right at it. And the Q is pushing again as well. So let's see. We've been in this area. Okay, okay. Still 2 more minutes for this candle to close. On the 3-minute, yeah, this was our highest closing candle. Rejection immediately. So yeah, ideally, I would like to see a close at least above 459, 0.75 for continuation. If we would have entered with more contracts, which would have been for my risk type too heavy, pre-market open. And it's also just a 50k account. If it would have been a 150k account, things would be different. Push up higher, respected fair value gap right here. Next push up higher, respected fair value gap up here. Next push up higher. No inversion. Okay. So we closed above our level. We have 1 more minute to go. Yeah, I saw that. Nice. If also on a 5 minute, quite efficient delivery. Let's say starting from the midnight open. But I mean, we would have already secured 5 handles of this fair value gap. I remember at the beginning of the stream, I pointed it out. This is where my attention goes to. If we manage to close below it, I'd look for shorts. But yeah, I would have definitely placed a limit order right here after midnight, because we've been getting those pushes. Every time we've been around this level, we started to push again right here. Went below it, touched that Asia low. Very strong push. Didn't hold. Next push. Alright, 10 seconds to go. Do we get our highest closing candle so far? If we do, I'm gonna keep on holding. Okay, note what did we just do right here? We did not just close, we didn't close above it, but notice we gapped above it. That's that's even better, actually. Volume imbalance, so we're going to keep track of that. Ideally, we would like to see this candle to close bullish and not to close this one in. And if we do that, note how we cut through our old public enemy number one. We kept holding resistance, and now we seem to be cutting through it, leaving what? A new discount where we could enter on if we want to add size to our trade, because if we close above that now too, this should become inversion for continuation, ideally into the previous day's high. I think I'm still just gonna look for 5 handles pre New York Open. It is 9:10 now. Yeah, we could keep trailing it. I would place my stop loss below this candle slow, but I'm unsure how I would. I'm just gonna open my orders. I've got a working sell stop. I want to get rid of that one. Okay, now it's gone, and I would place my new, put it in profit, sell stop, like it's trailing NQ. NQ is definitely the stronger one, because I mean, we haven't gone above the London high yet. NQ, those were the London session highs. You see that right here, 3 a.m., 3 a.m. Pretty good extension, but let's see. All my focus goes to this volume imbalances, and if this volume imbalance, so there are 2 options that we could, how we could continue from here. We could either rebalance this fair value gap immediately, so pretty much, hang on, leave this wick, rebalance, so we do not leave behind a fair value gap. Then I wouldn't look for support from here anymore, because we already rebalanced it and we just continue to deliver into more buy side. But if it remains open, this is our most recent discount. We haven't left behind any discounts since 8.50 pretty much, or 8.45. We just reacted off one. And yeah, obviously, we just cleared this buy side. Awesome trade. Nice. Good call, man. I don't know why you have any problems at all. If just every trade would be like that, I know the feeling. Okay, we have this old premium left behind. Yeah, focus is most important thing for trading. Okay, let's see. Looks like we're just about to clear this buy side, our old high right here. Of course, I wish I would have entered with more contracts, but you gotta stick to it. We could add to the position right here, but let's see how we close in 1.5 minutes. Of course, you could take profit right here, right now. This is not a, yeah, it's pre-session. We've been pretty bullish. Of course, I could simply just secure right here at the buy side. But yeah, I think I'm going for those 5 handles. Order flow right now is not bearish at all. Look how it's pushing. It's pushing through it. Now it just cleared buy side. So I want to see how we react off this level. If we can now maybe push through towards the previous day's high. But yeah, of course, we could just take profit here. Okay, fair enough. Congratulations, nice trade. I'm going to wait. I've got my stop in profit. That's gonna be how many? That's 1.25. We're gonna see. Right now it's 9:10. 15-minute candle is also about to close. If we close above this level, above this old high, I think we should have smooth sailing into our previous day's high. Let's check NQ. NQ still has a long way to go to the previous day's high. But NQ... Where's your challenge right now? 4, 3, 2, 1. Look at this bullish close. Pure adrenaline rush. Alright, 5 handles secured. Easy peasy. So yeah, we pretty much just secured this. Let me get rid of my sell stop. This whole move of this inversion right here. Initial stop loss, 1 tick below this level. And yeah, we secured 5. No, we got our entry off here. Yeah, I got a bit confused right there. Just then. And that's what I like about futures. You don't have to wait for spread or for price to go above your take profit target. We hit 5 handles. And note how we open up with a gap down. Same on the 15. Of course, we're still bullish. It's going to take out that previous day high. 49381. Yeah, so you secured 250 now. So, well, what I recommend would be for you to close the charts. Or to just tape read. Alright. Looks like Ulrich also took the same trade we took. Literally the same one. He based it off this market structure shift basically. So his chart pretty much looks like this. This was his bullish market structure shift. Filled this fair value gap, I think. Yeah, that's the fair value gap he drew up. He entered based on this and secured 5 handles. I don't really call it a market structure shift because we didn't clear the low. For a valid market structure shift, just from how I look at price, I would have seen that low to be cleared. Because then we could have also caught this entry down here and could have potentially made 7.25 handles. Or could have gone for 10 to this buy side. But awesome. We are all improving here. Copy link. Alright, let's get back to the live stream and see. Yeah, I'm happy to. Not bad. I took some drawdown on my... Okay, now we're going to go for the SPY side. Leaving behind a new discount. We left this volume imbalance open. Have a new fair value gap here. Going to watch those for market open. It's 9:15 now. Awesome run. I like it. I enjoyed it. So yeah, smooth sailing. So previous day high buy side. And the next target for me personally would be, this would still be my fake out move, the London fake out move. We could pretty much do it like this by now, because we cleared the London low once more. Yeah, overall 4600 would be my, let's say, AM session target. Not sure what is going to happen today. If we're going to clear the SPY side pre-market, yeah, scenario 1 would be we continue rallying towards 4600. How many handles was that actually? Yeah, that's just about 5 handles. That should be pretty easy. And yeah, our overall daily and weekly drawn liquidity would be 46,331, which also is not that much really. That's just 35 handles. And we've been having these moves, for example, yesterday, from our low to our high, that's 48. So it's, let's say, not unrealistic. Here again, 9:30 opening to our high, 37. So we actually could take out this high again, but we will see. So basically why I do that is to measure the standard deviation. So I want to see the Judas swing. And for example, right here, how I would have measured, now where's a good example? So let's say before we had this run up, my initial idea was this right here. Let's try to ignore all those drawings. But what I thought right here is, okay, we had SMT divergence with NQ. We cleared the London lows, so we took sell side already. We disrespected both of those bearish fair value gaps. I know we only had this one bearish fair value gap left, but I wanted to see this flipped, continuing to deliver us into the SPY side, because NQ also looked rather bullish. So for higher targets, what can you do? Right now, this wouldn't be the fake out move. This is the fake out move. We trapped shorts. We give them no time to pretty much exit their positions, even on higher time frames. So what I do is, come on, not ESU, ES1. What I would do then is I measure from, come on, I always hit space. So now here we go. I measure from high to low, and with the settings I use the second standard, or the level of 2, which would be 1 standard deviation, which would deliver us just to 4600. So right here we do not really have many targets to the left, but let's say we, for example, use a 1.5 right here. So yeah, based on our Judas swing, or our fake move that pretty much trapped everyone except the market makers into the wrong direction, I always like to measure that out and see where certain standard deviations would take us. Now I think ICT is using that as well. He covered it in his Judas swing video. I'm pretty sure, at least. So yeah, let's say, for example, this move would have been smaller, and we would have seen Judas swing, let's say, from here to here, and it's perfectly lining up with our previous day's high. That would give me more confidence that this move to the downside has been engineered, and yeah, just simply to target this. So yeah, let's see if we're going to catch this previous day's high. We did not reprice onto some discounts on the 5. We could go to the 3-minute. We didn't do that on the 3-minute either. And look at the 3-minute. We actually didn't even leave behind a fair value gap right here. That's only on the 5, but on the 3-minute, we had this push above. We immediately rebalanced. We did not leave a fair value gap, so this is also bullish. If you would have traded the 3-minute, you could have also entered right here as soon as this candle closed with your stop below this level. On the 1-minute, let's see how it delivered on the 1-minute. We just filled this bullish fair value gap. We left behind a tiny little one right here. And right here, we also cut just right through that. Volume imbalance. We should make it there. Right now it's 9:23, and I still haven't gone to the toilet or filled up my water bottle ready for market open. But I guess it is what it is. 5 minutes. Let's go back to that. Keep it nice and simple. I don't like to go, if I can, or if I could choose, I would stay away from the 1 minute, but it's good practice because it's moving much faster and you yeah, it's, but of course don't do it with your, yeah, your prop firm account or your Apex challenge. Just stick to the higher time frames. Try to master them first, and then you can always go lower if you, for example, want to reduce your screen time and you don't want to be trading for, yeah, so many hours. Let's see, we left equal highs once again. And Q is delivering and also pulling back. So yeah, if we get a delivery back into, let's say, for example, this inversion now, we could use this as inversion fair value gap. And I would also highlight this for the New York session, because that's really the only fair value gap we could look at that kept offering support and resistance pretty much since London Open. We could go long again on that inverted fair value gap. I wouldn't take it. I mean, we already secured 5. You could paper trade it to gain more confidence, or let's say use a higher risk Apex account, which you don't really care about. You just use it for practice and to actually sit through the emotions of taking a live trade, even though it's also just demo. But you know what I mean. 15-minute chart. So now, see that confluence right here? We have our 15-minute chart. If this candle is going to close like this on 5 minutes, fair value gap here, which is lining up beautiful with our 5-minute inversion, this 5-minute fair value gap, and this 5-minute fair value gap. So this would be a high probability area for continuation longs, even more so. Yeah, actually, if we don't go above the previous day high before market open, yeah, we could look for a retrace into this area to eventually deliver us into our expected buy side. What it's going to do after that, I don't know. We pretty much caught a awesome trade pre-market open. I would leave it at that. So yeah, we will see. Fucking huge range. Bam, 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 bam. Now we get expansion. We didn't clear these lows. Really would have liked to see that. So we could still attack them, actually. Low of day, bullish order block. Yeah. Let's see, 926. Alright, we just tapped buy side. Do we get a wick above? And since we don't really have many more targets other than the 4600 level, if we go to the daily, right here, we went above this high, we could look for our next target. We could look for horizontal ray right here, and this one right here. We already cleared the buy side, we're above that now. So yeah, really, those would be the next 3 buy side targets we could look for. But other than that, okay, we just ran buy side. That's our 4600 level. Let me get rid of that. So yeah, for a continuation setup, simplest thing to do would be taking a long off this inversion. As long as we don't close below it, we're all sweet. Awesome stream. Good decision that I decided to stream. And good call. I wasn't sure about taking it because we had those equal lows below, but yeah, thank you, man. You pushed me to, not pushed me, but you motivated me to take this trade as well. Okay, so we continue expanding. 5 minute. Oh, okay, and we're already sitting through the opening. We're gonna watch it afterwards, so I'm gonna tune out. Now, actually, I have to go to the toilet, so yeah, I'm gonna upload the recording of the stream so you can see me and Matt walk you through this trade right here that we took towards the previous day high. We secured 5 handles, and yeah, really, if you took this trade, even if you didn't take this trade, this was decent trade setup. Let's hope we, especially after clearing the previous day's high, I do not expect the New York opening to be a clean opening. We could see a consolidation prior to it. So yeah, overall, trade safe, and yeah, see you next time, and don't gamble away all your profits if you made some today.